I started growing in 1983, and I established my company in 1985.
Okay.
And then I opened the first coffee shop dispensary in 1992. It was one big adventure, of course, because when I started growing in the early 80s, there was no weed in Holland. And I started growing in 1983, and I established my company in 1985.
Okay.
And then I opened the first coffee shop dispensary in 1992.
Okay.
And then we opened another one in 95, and another one in 97, and then 2007.
And what about this 35 story?
Yeah, well, it was one big adventure, of course, because when I started growing in the early 80s, there was no weed in Holland.
Okay.
There was only, at that time, Ben from Sensi Seed, but he was not really growing yet. And it was the first American coming, and it was an old man with some skunk plants. He died a few years ago. And a few guys got some seeds, and that's how we started growing in Amsterdam. And the first variety was, I think, a skunk one.
Mm-hmm.
That came back from some people through Afghanistan, some army people. They brought it back a long time ago. And I got my hands on this, started making clones, 1983, 1984. And I was just a commercial grower at that time. So I was very young, and I was just growing, and nobody knew the smell, so you could grow everywhere in Amsterdam. I had one grow, was above the police station. And I remember one night where I was with my friend that the fire department came because the cinema was also there, and our floor was higher than the cinema.
Okay.
And luckily it was raining really hard that night, but my friend forgot to close the valve of the tank, the water. And the water was going into the cinema, so all the people had to go out of the cinema. And the fire department came to see what was going on. But it was raining really, really hard. We were so lucky. And then we find out it was our fault, but they never saw. And yeah, slowly my interest moved into genetics because of my traveling. I grew up in Africa and in Asia. And then I got my hands on some Central Africa sativas, and I started flowering them. And I made a few kilos of that. And then at that time there was already a few coffee shops, famous coffee shops, like the Bulldog was already existing because it opened in 75. Before me, but there was only hash. In Holland was only a hash culture. So you have your tobacco, you put your hash, and that's it. There was maybe some Jamaican, little bit weed that was coming with the ships, but not a lot. So we had the skunk, which we start selling to the coffee shops, and then I bring the sativas. But the price was, of course, much higher. And I went to my friends from the Bulldog and from other shops, and I give them all 2 kilos. I said, please try this for free. And I come back in a few weeks, and then you tell me your story, you know? I was very young, so I underestimated the dealers who were not interested to help me. And after 4 weeks I came back, and all my stuff I got back. In Holland they say, we don't like this, it smells like cat piss. And the taste is not good, and we don't like the workout. People prefer to smoke the skunk or hashish. Okay, so that was a big problem because I believed in my product, you know, and I was a chef at the same time because I was working in restaurants. I said to my wife, I said, this stuff is so good, you know, why don't people want to smoke this, you know? I didn't realize, you know. So this is already 88, 89, 90. And then my wife said at one point, listen, if you think this is really good, why don't we open our own coffee shop? But we had no money, we had 3,000 euros, you know, guilders at that time, you know. So, and then we also decided to, like you see this CBD weed shop now here, you know, it's like a whole new concept. We also decided at that time to come with a new concept. So when your mother and my mother pass in the street and see this place, they don't know it's a coffee shop. It looked like a modern artistic cafe with alcohol. So all the artists come there, the writers come there, everybody come there, you know, everybody's welcome. So we said, okay, let's open a shop like this with alcohol, and we invite the police and the mayor. It was a funny story because 10 years later, the mayor reminded me of that letter, because he said this was the first time that a coffee shop owner wrote a letter to the government and invite us. We thought, who is this guy? What is he thinking that we're really going to come? You know, and later I became the spokesman for the Cannabis Retailers Association. And then he reminded me of that letter. He said, you were the guy who sent us that letter. We nearly wanted to go actually, because this was such a surprise, because coffee shops and government were like far away from each other, you know. So we opened this cannabis cafe, which was very modern, very, you know, different style. And then the first 2 years we had absolutely no business because nobody wanted to smoke our weed. Because we were the first coffee shop in Holland that only had weed. We had a little hash, but we had like 20 varieties of weed. First 2 years, nothing happened. 92, and then 93, the Kennedy family, who owned High Times magazine, they had a consortium of magazines. They had 20 magazines, and one of them was High Times. They came by in April, and they said, hey, Arjan, I had no idea who they were. I didn't know High Times. I didn't know nothing. I was 27 years old. And I said, you want to enter a competition? We're going to do the first competition of the world about the best marijuana. I said, yeah, sure, why not? I had nothing to lose, no? And so in Thanksgiving, which is in November in America, this is April, we're talking now, I totally forgot about everything. It's now November, it's dark, it's raining like in Holland, you know. And suddenly I get a phone call, there is 700 Americans in Amsterdam and the cannabis is going to start now. What? And they nominated 10 coffee shops in Amsterdam. So all the Americans go everywhere and they arrive in my coffee shop. Luckily I had still the same weed, enough. And we start, you know, playing, and for the first time my club was also full with people. And all the Americans said, oh, this is really great, we never smoked this before, this is fantastic. And I was like, okay, my wife was there. I called my old friend, they'd all come to help, you know, because we had like 200 people inside all the time. Well, make a long story short, after 1 week there was the big ceremony in the Buddha discotheque under the Bulldog, which is close to our greenhouse coffee shop now. And then there were 6 prizes and we won 5 of the 6 prizes. First prizes, which we never expected because we were in the back drinking and having a good time and smoking, and then they called us, you know. But you have to realize, we're talking about 93. At that time, this was the first World Championship in marijuana. There was more than 30 television stations. There was CNN, BBC, South African television, everything, because there is some crazy magazine holding an illegal cup in Amsterdam, so everybody wants to document this. So because of this, I had to give like 100 interviews, and then we went like this. So there was a little bit the history of how we kept believing in our product and kept pushing it through the coffee shop, which was a normal coffee shop where your mother and my mother could go inside and not only people smoking, but also having a drink and a good talk. And then from there on, yeah, the rest is history, of course, because then we started all the other things.
There start another story.
Then start all other stories, yeah, a lot. There was the story of the first greenhouse.
Yeah. And you have been acclaimed as the king of...
yes, that was also because of High Times.
Exactly.
So they appointed me king of cannabis because of all the new varieties that I was creating.
They put you on the cover.
They put me 2 times on the cover, in 95 and 99, yes. Bob Marley was 1 time, Mick Jagger was 1 time, I was 2 times. Yeah, that was funny, yeah. So that was really good for us.
Are you still breathing today?
Yeah, we're still working. We have a big project going on in Congo and some other small projects left and right. Yeah, we're still working as always. Actually, we are working more than ever.
And you personally?
Yeah. Since March, I'm not flying because of the COVID.
Okay.
But yeah, normally I'm every month I'm 1 week in Africa and I'm 1 week in Canada in our factory. So yeah, we have 2 big factories, and we are extending. Probably we'll have more in the future.
Okay.
And we are now also probably going to get a factory in Holland very soon. We started this strain hunter project after the King of Cannabis project. The King of Cannabis was created to create awareness in America. So at one point, Holland was a lot under pressure in the late 90s and early 2000s, especially from France, Sweden and America and the United Nations. So there was continued push to stop the coffee shops. So at one point, we said we had a big issue, yeah? So me and a lot of other coffee shops, we came together And we said, okay, we have to now start lobbying for ourselves and, you know, make sure we can survive. Because the Christians, the Americans, the French, the Swedish, a lot of people were pushing Holland to stop this experiment with coffee shops. So that's when we created King of Cannabis, because I said, okay, listen, when we have King of Cannabis, people will come, celebrities, we will tell our story and they can go back to America. So that's how we became friends with Woody Harrelson and Bill Maher and all those people that went back to America. And like after 96 to 99, the first coffee shop started around Berkeley, with Berkeley Patient Group, with Debbie Goldsberry, Steve D'Angelo, with Harborside, and all those big things. And I wrote a big book, How to Run a Dispensary Coffee Shop. But in 2005, I was a little bit done with this. And I already, my whole life, was going into the jungle to find seeds, because I'm from Africa originally, I grew up there and in Asia. And I thought it would be really nice to document this. So I came back to the office and I started talking to my partners at that time, Joa and Heiko and all the people. Said, listen guys, I think it's time for us now to start documenting this. And they all said, Arjan, you are crazy, because we're all going to go in prison. Because this is stupid, you know. I said, well, let's try. So with the first one, and then I had one Italian guy working for me, Franco, in a coffee shop, and he thought he would never have the job, but he was a very passionate guy, you know. He was one of the most passionate guys that was around me. And the other big advantage of Franco was he was speaking 5 languages. And he had an army background, he was very, very disciplined and motivated. And in 2001, we had the license in Holland. This was the first medical license ever from SIM, S-I-M-M. Together with our partner at that time, we got the first license in Holland. And I was not allowed to go in there because it was a medical license and I was a coffee shop owner. So I took Franco out of the clubs and put him there. So he was 3 years working in this glass house to doing a lot of experience. And then after I said, okay, now we go, and then we go into the bush. So this is how me and Franco start working together. And then together we made 9 movies until now. We were going to make a new movie with Dust in September this year. But yeah, due to COVID and my team is from America, it was not possible to go. So now we have planned to make another movie in April next year. Where? We never say where, okay, because of security reasons, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a big issue. But that is my history with Franco and how we started making all these great movies, you know. We had amazing times, amazing times.
We miss him a lot.
Yeah, every day basically, you know. But yeah, what to do? This was a very unfortunate accident. And we always knew, you know, that, look, this is not without danger, you know. We did Colombia, where I took a few people from my group and we went into the FARC before the peace. And you know, there's 12,000 people being kidnapped and $1 million ransom for everybody, and we had to go in and out. We've been in many, many dangerous places, in many dangerous situations. This is not easy to do. That's why you see many seed companies always saying, yeah, we go to the jungle and we go to Africa, but these days we have Instagram, you know? I never see one picture from nobody. And I never see one movie from nobody. They never go, because it's not so easy, you know? You need to be trained, you need to survive, you need to adapt to jungle or desert or heat or local people or local tribes. So the preparation to go in some areas, like we want to go now to Taliban, you know, in Afghanistan or to Pakistan, you know, these areas, yeah, you have to be prepared, you know, and be prepared for the worst. Things can happen.
Yeah.
Comes with the job.
And now we are in Italy, which
now
is
we're
not
in
so
Italy.
Complicated, but tell us something about this project and this tour.
Yeah, so we have meet up with the guys from CB Weed, which is a very exciting project, especially in these very difficult times, also in Italy with the corona. But we always say, you know, difficult times give opportunities. And as I just said before, we cannot travel outside of Europe for a while. So we've been home for 5 months. We've been redoing our club. We actually bought a new club in Amsterdam. It's on a single 387, a new Strain Hunter club. So we have one now in Barcelona, a Strain Hunter club, and we have one in Amsterdam. So now we are starting this new company here in Italy, and we have all time to go around. We've been to Bologna, we're going to Modena, we're going to Monza, we're going to Milano, and a few more Torino. and we're going to visit 25, 30 shops, and we're going to put this product in the market. I think this is a great new product because, CBD weed is getting very popular amongst all kinds of people, for sleep or young people who find it trendy. And what makes this special is that this is the first weed that is nearly a copy of the identical one with high THC. So here you smell the terpenes and you taste the terpenes, which is great because normally the CBD weed, it came from industrial hemp and doesn't have the thing would you like to have, When you eat really good Italian food, it must be really good Italian food, no? Especially in Italy. So this we have now ready. We've got 3 varieties. The other 3 are coming very soon. Yeah, I'm super excited about this project that we are doing with CBD weed together.
A question. In Holland, in Amsterdam,
Yeah.
in a coffee shop, do you sell CBD weed?
We are starting to sell very soon. It's going to happen in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah.
People ask for it?
Not yet, because they can smoke high THC. But there is ask, but it's not yet a very big market because our market is not under pressure. But for example, myself, I smoke the CBD weed with the normal weed.
Yeah.
So I use it because I don't smoke tobacco. So I use it as a substitute for tobacco, which is great. So yeah, I think it's going to have a big place in this planet, the CBD
But
weed.
do you have a target like, I don't know, the younger people or maybe the older people? Because here in Italy...
All in principle, all for us. Of course, there is. I heard in some areas it's the people between 30 and 45, or it's the elderly people because they want to sleep good, or it's the really young people because they want to look cool or whatever, So I heard different stories also in Italy.
Yeah, and we know that it's not simple the situation about coffee shop in Amsterdam. Many have been closed in the last year. How is the situation now? And another question, the Dutch government is preparing a law to regulate the production of weed in...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so the Dutch government is going to issue 10 licenses to 10 growers at the end of this year. There's 149 applications and 10 people will get a license and 10 people will supply 79 coffee shops in 10 different small cities, not in the big cities, because they want to control the experiment for the next 4 to 5 years. So we will see who will get the license. It's all very, very big projects. So people have to invest minimum 10 to 20 million to get the license.
For each one?
For any license, because you have to supply 6 tons a year. That's the amount that they've figured out, because you cannot only supply the marijuana, but you can also supply the hashish made of indoor or glasshouse marijuana, which makes you have to grow 4 or 5 times more. And the hashish part in Holland is still like 30%, so you have to grow a lot of marijuana. So the whole process is happening now. Our partner Joachim has helped the government a lot with a few other people from our group to make it possible. So it went through the government, that's all happening now. And now it's going to go through the commission, which are going to select the designated growers. The situation with the coffee shops is still very complicated. It has always been complicated. I think it will take another 5 to 10 years. There's always pressure, especially if you look at the big city of Amsterdam now. We normally have 23 million tourists, and this year we will have 5. Well, it's probably the same in Milan, it's probably the same in Rome, it's probably the same all over the world. The tourists is of course because of COVID down. But at the same time we also have pressure from right-wing groups and even some left groups that they want to throw out the tourists out of the coffee shops, which already is a law in Holland in most municipalities. But now they also want to do it in Amsterdam. But I can already say we have won that battle. They will vote about it in the council in Amsterdam very soon, but they will not win. So yeah, but the coffee shops always will stay an issue until it's totally legalized. And when it's going to be legalized, I don't know.
But according to you, this pilot project can be a step closer to the legalization or not? Yes,
totally. Yeah, of course, because once those 78 coffee shops will do a good job and they will get the marijuana for a good price and they can compete with the black market, then of course it will help. But having said it, at the same time, we operate in Canada. We have a big factory in Canada with our partners there, and the Canadian government put a lot of rules which make it not able to compete with the black market. So they think they make good rules, but they make bad rules. So like over-regulated. And when you over-regulate, it gets too expensive, your quality goes down, and this is what's happening in the Canadian market. So they will never be able to compete with the black market unless they're going to change the rules. So if the Dutch government does the same stupid things in the end, which I don't hope, doesn't look like it like now, then they will have a problem, because then you have a small city with 5 coffee shops, then the people will go to the next city with 3 coffee shops and buy their stuff there. So we will have to see how this all happens. But you know, it's unavoidable that this market is going to get regulated one day in the world. We all know this, you know. Everything's still illegal. People are spraying, people are stealing, police is making problems, growers go in prison. This has to stop at one point. And this is what I'm trying to do the last 35 years with my business, trying to regulate more, you know. But it's very, very difficult because we have politics against us, we have the church against us, we have the finance against us, we have pharma against us, we have the alcohol industry very much against us, and we have the tobacco industry against us. Basically, everybody's against us. So this is a product that everybody hates except us. You know, this is what we're fighting.
According to me, if one country will start to legalize in Europe, maybe that we will be in the same situation of the USA, where Colorado starts and then many others follow. What do you think about?
So I don't think it's that easy, because kind of Holland legalized 30 years ago already. It's not legal in Holland, but why didn't they follow the Dutch sample already? And Canada is legal, Uruguay is legal, and America is not even legal. So, and now with the High Supreme Court in America turning totally to the right, let's see what's going to happen there, you know. So I don't know, it's difficult. It's, you know, and look how much things are in our favor. All the doctors are in favor of legalization. Most police, because they don't want to chase the smoker in the street. They want to do some serious business, you know. So that part we have behind us. So, and we have a great product. You know, we all know now it's a great medicinal product. It's a great product not to take, to smoke, so you don't take alcohol. You know, so there's a lot of things in our favor, and still we are illegal after how many years since Henry Anslinger with the DEA in 1930. So that's nearly 100 years we are illegal.
Yes.
Alcohol was only 10 years illegal. We are 100 years illegal now.
Yes, that compared to all day history is a little part.
Especially Italy. Look at your country here. Yeah. You have some big issues here why it's illegal. I will not mention them.
We have problem also with the CBD.
The biggest one is your church.
Yes.
Yeah, the Vatican.
Yeah.
And there's another very big one that's also creating issues.
I think that this Pope opened for many issues, you know, about the church, what the church think. But when he speak about marijuana, he speak badly. Even if he's an open Pope, you know.
Yeah.
He spoke, I think, twice time about cannabis.
Oh, he said something about cannabis? Yeah. I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
What did he say?
That is, one time that is a drug of the devil, something like that.
Drug of the devil.
Yeah. Another time, another thing like this.
Yeah, this is the problem, you know.
Yes, and if you think that in Italy we are having problem also for the CBD flower, you can understand that the issue is difficult.
Yeah.
Also because there are many economic reasons, and you know, the European Commission recently told to some business that want to register some CBD product in the novel food catalog, that they are thinking to consider CBD like a psychotrope substance.
Yeah, of course.
And the decision will arrive in November, but
this year.
Yes.
That's in 4 weeks.
We still don't know.
Okay.
And What are your expectations for the future in general?
Well, look, as I said before, I hope our market gets regulated and even legalized at one point, which will make it good for companies like us who work very hard for 35 years to grow in other countries too, you know. So that's my expectation and my hope. And if you look at Canada and America, it will happen, you know, because everybody will follow at one point. So the European community can come with whatever law in the future, but at one point everything gets legal in the other side of the world, then we'll see what happens here. But I think there's no way back. You know, there's more and more consumers. There's more and more people who don't consume but like us. You know, there's more. It's more acceptable product due to the medical part, of course, also. So I think in the near future you will see more steps around the world where things get legalized. If you follow the legalization process of the medical marijuana, even in Thailand, for example, and that kind of countries where it gets legalized, then probably one day the recreational part will get legalized. And slowly, look in Italy now, you have a few plants. 10 years ago you go in prison. So, step by step. The problem is the politicians. They are the main problem. They have to get elected. And when they go say, I'm going to legalize cannabis, some people are not going to vote for them, you know? So they're not helping a lot.
Okay, and could you tell us a memory, a funny memory or a crazy memory? I think that in this 30, 40 years you have seen everything in the cannabis world. If you have one memory that you can tell us.
The craziest one was, well, not crazy, there was many, you know, but I had a very big grow operation near Schiphol Airport, Amsterdam. Like here you have Milano, was it Linnaea or whatever it's...
Linate, yes, or more.
So, but under where the planes land, there was the industrial area, and I had a very big grow room there. And I was watching television in my house, cleaning marijuana with my wife and some other people. And I was in the morning in that grow room to fill up the bus to go to my house. And I put the television on and I see the news and I see my thing full of police and like 200 people and a guy with a microphone. And I see the front door open of this place. But the place there was a fake wall. And the owner was on the mic, talking with the police and the mayor of that small village and everybody there. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on now, you know? And then I had no clue, but I put on and I was listening, and it was not for me. He was the chairman of the anti-Schiphol thing for the noise. You know, the people complain about the noise. And there was everybody there, and it was the press conference of the new association against the airplanes. And I was like, oh, this was so funny, because I was there like 2 hours ago with a truck taking the marijuana out, and the whole people were standing there, the police, the mayor, everybody, in front of my 100 lights. Yeah. So that was a funny anecdote,
yes.
You know?
Yes.
So there you have one.
And if you can also leave a message to our readers, the people that follow Dolce Vita.
Yes, well, Dolce Vita is of course one of the most oldest established magazines in Italy. So I would everybody encourage to keep reading paper and not only on the computer. And yeah, good luck for the magazine.
Thank you.